What's up out there, everybody? Welcome to Movies Never Say Die. Today we're diving into the next chapter in our journey through the top 100 movies from the 1990s. This stretch of the countdown brings together iconic sci-fi, Oscar-winning performances, sharp thrillers, mind-bending timelines, and some very emotionally damaged men. These 10 films left an undeniable mark on pop culture with critics and audiences alike. You may have seen them once, twice, or even countless times, but either way, it's time to revisit the brilliance, the chaos, and the cinematic heat of entries 40 through 31. So let's get into it. In 1995's 12 Monkeys, Bruce Willis plays a time-traveling convict trying to stop a global plague while Brad Pitt steals scenes like a twitchy mental patient with revolutionary aspirations in a time travel flick all to its own. Now, Terry Gilliam's 12 Monkeys isn't just a movie you casually toss on, it's a bleak, brain-bending cocktail of paranoia and fate with more layers than an onion. It's like somebody dropped Blade Runner into a fever dream, then added a shot of Outbreak Panic to it. Bruce Willis, in one of his most grounded, bizarre, and just overall vulnerable performances, plays this prisoner that's sent back in time to find the origins of a virus that wiped out most of humanity. It's a film that spirals through time loops and existential crisis and somehow makes it all make complete sense while also leaving you almost completely unsure of anything. This movie just completely tripped me out when I watched it as a teen for the first time, and it quickly became repeat viewing when I bought a copy on DVD. Brad Pitt, fantastic here, nominated for an Oscar, just goes gloriously off the rails as this babbling activist that's just fueled by a truckload of unmedicated chaos. It's one of those roles where you either think he's overacting or maybe just realize he's the most disturbing thing in the entire movie. Now, critically, it was hailed for its direction, its atmosphere, and just its cerebral narrative overall. 12 Monkeys became a cult hit that aged like radioactive wine. It's complex, it's potent, it's not for everybody, but in a decade full of disaster flicks, it was the rare one that made you feel the weight of what we'd already lost before the bombs even dropped. Bone Collector from 1999 delivers Denzel Washington in a medical bed. He plays a quadriplegic forensic genius who teams up with a rookie cop played by Angelina Jolie to hunt a serial killer, leaving behind grotesque clues all across New York City. To me, there's just something wonderfully 90s about a murder mystery that pairs a bed-bound genius with a street-smart rookie and makes it work like a grimy episode of CSI. The Bone Collector really leans hard into the high-concept crime thriller formula with cryptic clues and ticking clocks and a serial killer conveniently always a step ahead. But, I mean, let's be honest, none of this works without Denzel Washington, who somehow manages to command every scene while confined to a hospital bed. It's impressive to say the least. This was a movie that I watched many times on rainy days. It's so tightly written and well acted that I think you can still find intrigue on repeat viewing despite knowing the identity of the killer, and Angelina Jolie, still on the rise, really gives her all as the cop on the edge character with a subtle intensity that I do think plays perfectly off of Denzel's calm brilliance. Their chemistry just clicks enough to keep you rooting for them, even when the plot stretches believability like a rubber band in a freezer. And let's not forget the supporting players either. Queen Latifah, Ed O'Neill, Luis Guzman, and Michael Rooker. It's a great ensemble. Yes, some of the setups are ludicrous, and yes, the killer reveal seems a bit Scooby-Doo-ish, but that's just kind of part of the charm. The Bone Collector isn't aiming for gritty realism. It's the kind of suspense ride you take with popcorn in one hand and just wild guesses in the other. It may not have redefined the genre, but it scratched that late 90s itch for dark alleys and tortured minds and elaborate crime scenes where the killer somehow always has a flair for the dramatic. It's not prestige, but the Bone Collector is still plenty pulpy and plenty satisfying. Barry Sonnenfeld's Men in Black from 1997 gives us the duo of Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones donning the sharpest suits in sci-fi as secret agents policing Earth's extraterrestrial activities, all while cracking wise and saving the world from intergalactic bugs. Men in Black is what happens when sci-fi goes clubbing with buddy cop comedy. Will Smith, riding the wave of Independence Day success, shows up as Agent J, a wisecracking NYPD cop recruited into a shadowy agency that handles all things alien-related, and Tommy Lee Jones, grumpy and deadpan as ever, plays Agent K, the partner who's been there and seen it all, and there is no denying that the duo of Smith and Jones are what made this movie a hit. Director Barry Sonnenfeld does keep the pace tight and the tone bouncy, delivering a pure crowd pleaser that blends slick effects with dry humor, but really the secret weapon of this movie is Vincent D'Onofrio's just hilariously grotesque performance as the farmer turned alien host, providing this movie with the intimidating but still very cartoonish villain that it desperately needed. This was a movie that just absolutely captured the zeitgeist. It was everywhere, and beyond the blockbuster thrills on the screen, Men in Black became a cultural event. The Ray-Bans, they were an instant trend. The Neuralizer, it was every millennial's fantasy for erasing awkward memories, and that theme song, get it stuck in your head and forget about it. It's there all day. Will Smith dropped a chart-topping song with a music video that was just as heavily played as this movie. It's really rare for a movie this weird to hit this big, but Men in Black made weird cool. It brought aliens out of the shadows and into the multiplexes, forever changing the way we imagined little green alien men, flashy and fun and smart enough to sneak in a metaphor or two. Men in Black was sci-fi with swagger, and it's still an entertaining adventure for the family today. In Unforgiven from 1992, Clint Eastwood directs and stars as a retired killer dragged back into the gunslinger life for one last bloody job in this Oscar-winning Western that rewrote the rules for the genre in the modern era. Now forget the white hats and the black hats, Unforgiven is all about the mud. Clint Eastwood dismantles the myth of the noble cowboy, giving us Bill Money, a former outlaw turned pig farmer who is pulled into a bounty hunt that slowly peels away any romance left of the Old West. The result is brutal and meditative and about as far away from the good, the bad, and the ugly as you can ride. Eastwood plays Money with a quiet dread of a man who knows exactly what he's capable of and hates himself for it. Morgan Freeman backs him up as Ned, the reluctant partner, and Gene Hackman is electric as Little Bill, the sadistic sheriff whose idea of justice includes a hammer and zero patience. Now, normally not a huge Western guy outside of Young Guns and occasionally Tombstone, I loved this movie. I thought it was the total package, and I thought it really kicked ass. This is a Western that just burns with consequence. Every gunshot hurts, every decision scars, and every heroic act feels drenched in guilt, and it's really no wonder the movie scooped up 4 Oscars, including Best Picture and Best Director, as well as helping redefine Eastwood's career from a movie tough guy to a serious filmmaker. Unforgiven was the Western that told the genre to grow up. There was no stylish duels, no sunset rides, just regret and violence and the harsh truth that legends are usually just killers with better aim and faster reflexes. It's not just one of the best Westerns of the 90s, Unforgiven is one of the best movies of the decade. Leaving Las Vegas from 1995 showcases Nicolas Cage giving a haunting, Oscar-winning performance as a suicidal alcoholic who heads out to Vegas to drink himself to death and finds an unexpected connection with a compassionate sex worker played by Elizabeth Shue. Now, this is far from your upbeat Vegas story. There are no Elvis impersonators, no glitzy blackjack wins, and definitely no fun hangovers to laugh about. Leaving Las Vegas is raw, it's intimate, and just emotionally devastating. It's an unflinching portrait of two broken people who really come to find comfort in each other's wreckage. I saw this movie later in college and I thought it was phenomenal. It's certainly not one of those movies you just pop in, you gotta be in the mood for it, but when you are, the result will be impactful. Nicolas Cage disappears into Ben Sanderson, a Hollywood screenwriter who has lost everything to the bottle and has no plans on stopping. His spiral feels so real that it is unsettling, and Cage earned his Oscar the hard way by just making you believe every slurred word and trembling hand. And opposite him, Elizabeth Shue delivers a quiet powerhouse performance as Sarah, a woman surviving her own kind of nightmare with a broken grace and a strength and a vulnerability of her own. Michael Figgis's direction is dreamlike, but he never romanticizes the despair. The Vegas lights kind of flicker like dying stars, and even the city's nonstop energy just can't hide the emptiness that these characters carry with them. This movie really did strike a chord with critics and audiences alike for its honesty. It wasn't trying to fix anything or offer redemption. It just kind of watched quietly like a fly on the wall as two people tried to be human for each other before the inevitable end. And as far as 90s dramas go, you cut deeper. It's not an easy movie to watch, but it's definitely even harder to forget. In Groundhog Day from 1993, Bill Murray plays a cynical weatherman trapped in an amusing time loop, reliving the same day in a small town over and over again until he finally gets it right, or at least gets it less wrong. Really, Groundhog Day is the kind of high-concept comedy that could have easily been a one-joke gimmick and then went and became a modern classic. Bill Murray stars as Phil Connors, a TV weatherman who's arrogant, bitter, and deeply allergic to small-town charm, and when he's sent to cover the Groundhog Day festivities in Punxsutawney, he ends up trapped in a time loop where February 2nd repeats again and again and again, and the result is hilarious. I loved this movie growing up. I still do. Anytime it's on, I'm sitting there for it. I mean, what could have easily been a Twilight Zone rerun with jokes turned into something sneakily profound? I mean, Phil's journey from jerk to decent human plays out across dozens of repeated days, each one offering new chances, new regrets, and yes, new piano skills. And I think Murray really does effectively walk that tightrope between dry sarcasm and quiet heartbreak, making the transformation believable without ever turning sappy. I mean, he's essentially playing a toned-down Frank Cross from Scrooged here, and it works. Director Harold Ramis keeps the tone light but never shallow, and the film really became an unexpected favorite. I mean, relatable to anyone who's ever been stuck in their own rut. Plus, it's truly funny, like still quotable 30 years later funny. And over the years, Groundhog Day has become more than a movie. It's become a metaphor for monotony, for redemption, and for doing better and laughing all the way there. James Mangold would do the unthinkable in 1997's Copland by having Sylvester Stallone trade in his action hero persona to play a quiet New Jersey sheriff caught between corrupt New York City cops and his own fading sense of duty, and the result, to me at least, would be a timeless crime classic. I think we could all agree Copland was that movie that made everybody stop and say, wait, Stallone can really act? Gone were the muscles and the one-liners. This was a subdued, overweight, hearing-impaired sheriff who mumbled much more than he punched, and it worked like a charm. It was fantastic for this movie. Stallone's turn as Freddy here is sad, it's sympathetic, and surprisingly layered, effectively anchoring this gritty crime drama that's just bursting with testosterone and moral decay otherwise. And the cast, they're fantastic. It's absolutely stacked. Harvey Keitel, Ray Liotta, and Robert De Niro all playing cops and characters with various shades of corruption and conscience. Copland is just a movie that oozes tension as Freddy slowly realizes he can't just look the other way anymore. This was really a shocking movie to me when I watched it for the first time. It was on the shelf in the video store in the new release section. I had no idea it was even out. It had Stallone in it, so I grabbed it, and it was absolutely different than anything I expected, but all the better for it. I think director James Mangold really crafts a moody, slow burn story that kind of feels like a throwback to 70s character dramas. It's less about the gunfights, though there is a great one late in the game. It's more about the internal battles. It bombed at the box office, but it grew in stature over time, especially for Stallone, who reminded the world there was much more behind those squints than just Rocky and Rambo. It's not flashy, but Copland sticks with you like a moral hangover after years of bad choices. 1997's Good Will Hunting featured Matt Damon playing a brilliant but troubled janitor whose mathematical gifts and emotional wounds draw the attention of a therapist played by Robin Williams in his most quietly powerful role. "How do you like them apples" may have been the quote, but Good Will Hunting did give us much more than bar banter. It gave us Matt Damon and Ben Affleck's breakout, it gave us Robin Williams' Oscar-winning performance, and it gave us the ultimate message that sometimes the smartest thing a person can do is admit they need a little bit of help. Damon plays Will Hunting, a South Boston genius who's happier punching dudes in the parking lots than solving equations, but when a professor spots his talent, Will is forced into therapy with Sean Maguire, a grieving widower played with a weary warmth by Robin Williams, and what follows is much less about numerical math and much more about emotional math. What adds up, what doesn't, how to stop running from yourself. Director Gus Van Sant really does keep the camera close. He keeps the tone intimate. He lets the performances do the heavy lifting, and it works. Williams steals the show with a monologue about love and loss that still wrecks people decades later. The soundtrack is fantastic. It's pure melancholy perfection. This was the rare 90s drama that blended brain and heart without pandering to either. Much like Williams delivered with Dead Poets Society in the 80s, this movie just hit audiences right in the feelings. It's a film about potential, pain, and the healing power of a good cry on a park bench, and with its uplifting spirit, it's one of those dramas that you can easily rewatch. Tony Scott's stylish True Romance from 1993 gives us Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette playing lovers on the run with a suitcase full of stolen drugs and every criminal in America chasing them in this Quentin Tarantino penned cult classic. Now, to me, True Romance is like a mixtape of 90s cool. It's violent, romantic, funny, passionate, and constantly teetering on the edge of chaos. Directed by Tony Scott and written by Quentin Tarantino before he became a household name, this film plays like a Bonnie and Clyde kind of filtered through a video store clerk's dream journal. It's part love story, part shoot 'em up, all style. Christian Slater plays Clarence. He's a comic book nerd who marries Patricia Arquette's Alabama, a kind-hearted call girl with grit to spare, and after a botched confrontation with her pimp, played by Gary Oldman in full dreadlocked madness here, the couple ends up with a suitcase full of cocaine and the plan of visiting LA. Sadly, though, the mob has other plans, and that's where the movie heads. I remember stumbling into this one as a teen one night on cable. I caught it, watched it, stuck with me ever since. I think every supporting actor here pops. Dennis Hopper and Christopher Walken trade threats in a legendary scene. Brad Pitt, he makes bong hitting an art form. Gandolfini gets disturbingly intense in a hotel room. Val Kilmer plays Elvis. This movie had it all, and I loved it. Though it did bomb at the box office, True Romance gained cult status, I think, thanks to its quotable dialogue, its hyper-violence, and just chaotic energy. It's one of those films that kind of feels like it was made just for the cool kids who didn't realize it was pretty much about vulnerability and sacrifice and wild devotion. You just don't watch true romance, you kind of fall for it, flaws and all. 1996's Mission Impossible would kick off a multi-decade spanning franchise and introduce us to Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt, a super spy framed for betrayal who must pull off impossible missions like dangling from ceilings and outrunning exploding fish tanks to prove his innocence. Now, before Mission Impossible became the high-octane, international, death-defying mega franchise we know today, it started as a sleek, twisty spy thriller directed by Brian De Palma, where the plot twists moved faster than the camera and Tom Cruise still had both feet on the ground most of the time. This first installment really, to me, is all about the deception, the double crosses, and dutifully sweating through every nerve-wracking scene. When Ethan Hunt's IMF team is wiped out for the most part, he goes rogue to clear his name and expose the real mole, leading to several iconic sequences that still hold up great today, most famously, to me at least, that silent CIA vault heist where a single bead of sweat is able to generate more suspense than most modern blockbusters. I think Cruise is at his most intense here, running, flipping, typing furiously, all with that unwavering 1,000-yard stare. The supporting cast here includes Jon Voight and Ving Rhames and Jean Reno and Emilio Estevez for a few scenes, all of whom are fantastic. But I mean, really, this was the movie that announced Mission Impossible as Cruise's personal playground. We really watched this movie so many times at the drive-in that summer it was released. It was the summer after my senior year, and I really spent almost every night there rotating screens, watching the different movies, and this was one of them in rotation. The plot left people scratching their heads in certain places, but the action and the stylish direction made it clear that this was espionage for the new millennium. And when that helicopter chases that train through the tunnel, that's blockbuster territory right there. This film laid the groundwork for one of the most successful action franchises ever, and Cruise was really just getting started. And that's it for today, guys. That wraps up this episode. My apologies for taking a little bit longer to get it out. I've been under the weather. I'm still not 100% right now, but you know, like Jordan did during his flu game in '97, he got to go out there and he's got to perform. I got to get out here and I got to talk movies with you guys because it's what I truly love to do. I hope you guys have enjoyed this batch of 10 movies. I promise I'm feeling better every day. Next couple days I should be back to 100%. I'll get the next episode banged out. I want to get all these episodes done, get this list wrapped up so we can dive into that viewer voted best action star of the 80s countdown that I got planned for you guys. I really think it's going to be something fun and unique and different for our YouTube and for you guys. And I think it's going to be, everybody's going to be able to kind of talk to everybody about different things and have their opinions in the community. I think it's going to be a fun time. So be on the lookout for the next episode. Thank you guys for joining with me. Apologies if my voice cracked in certain places. I still got a lot of congestion. I'm a little bit snotty at the moment, so I'm not really at my best shape, but I wanted to deliver this episode for you guys. I hope you guys have all enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one soon. And until then, please never say die.
This is Jack Burton in the